Hey y'all, this is Tina. So I thought I would talk a little bit about nutrition. I mentioned it in my update video, which if you're watching this later on down the line, it was the update for day 68, where I said that I'm focusing on consistency in physical activity, which for me means doing something active every single day. No specific time limit at this point, no specific like I've got to do these workouts or this type of activity, just doing something where I am moving my body every single day. And then also focusing on my nutrition. So my history with food is storied and deep and emotional, but I've tried just about everything. And over the course of just the past however many weeks it's been, 2.5 months or so of DDPY, I have changed my diet up like 3 or 4 times, trying to find like what worked best with the physical activity, with my food sensitivities, with my lifestyle, with my food preferences. And basically over the course of that time as well, I've been trying to educate myself as well onto like what really nutritionally makes the most sense for me as a person, but just in general with like nutrition science kind of stuff. And there's so much information out there. There's so much misinformation out there, or so many differing opinions, I should say, out there. That basically what I came down to is my non-diet diet. And what that means is I figured I've tried so many other diets that were focused just on weight loss, right? And I have been successful to a degree in them before. I've been able to take the weight off, at least a chunk of the weight off, multiple times, but I wasn't ever able to keep it off because the way that I was eating just was not sustainable for me personally in my life. And so what I decided was that I needed to come up with a way of thinking about food and handling food that I could do every day for the rest of my life. And that came down to kind of a couple of key factors. The first and foremost thing is that I cannot eliminate entire food groups. It's just not sustainable for me. And it's definitely not sustainable for the family that I live, that I'm a part of, and the place that I live. It just wouldn't work. And so that's the first thing. Aside from watching my gluten, because I definitely know that, and doctor has agreed with me that I have a gluten sensitivity, keeping that to a minimum, sugar, and also limiting the amount of dairy that I have every day because it is not always my friend. I'm not really eliminating any food groups. Another thing that I have tried and I know does not work for me is forms of fasting. Outside of fasting for spiritual reasons, which I do to a degree, fasting on the regular just does not work for me. There are some benefits in that, like the way that I scheduled the fasting that I did, I would eat my last meal around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that meant when I got home from work, I was done eating and the snacking did not happen. However, I was not getting enough calories, and because the bulk of my eating time was also work time, it was really difficult for me to make sure that I ate enough, and it actually caused me to plateau. So like I'm not getting paid to constantly eat food. I'm getting paid to work. So it just didn't work for me, and it really wasn't sustainable also in the social context as well. Because if we had a family birthday dinner or whatever, and so anyway, again, there are ways around that if you're committed to intermittent fasting. It just did not work for me, and so that's not going to be a part of any long-term sustainable life change for me. The other thing that I learned about myself was that I do really, really well with smaller meals throughout the course of the day. So I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I also throw in a snack or two throughout the day depending on how I feel. Meal replacement stuff. I know for sure that does not work for me. I love to cook. I love to eat. And doing shakes or bars or prepackaged things just is not gonna be living my best life for sure, and not be something that I can sustain long term. So that isn't a part of it. The other thing that I was really surprised that I figured out about myself, but it kind of makes sense, is the whole concept of cheat days. That just needs to go out the window, or cheat meals even. That just needs to go out the window. Because what I learned was that I tend to eat way more food when I'm like, it's my cheat day, you know, or this is my cheat meal, than I would if I just allowed myself to interact with the food that was with me. If I was going to a restaurant and there was something that I wanted, eating a sensible portion of that. Whenever those things happen, as opposed to setting out to cheat on my diet. I also don't like the idea that I'm cheating on food or on myself, because that brings up all kinds of emotions, and I just want to remove as much emotional stuff from the food as I possibly can, and the cheat day kind of creates emotion, so it's gone. Other things, the tracking thing. So I track my calories with MyFitnessPal. I have many, many thoughts about calorie tracking for the mere mortal outside of a lab. I don't really think that it's accurate, but what it is helping me with is to notice trends in, for example, I realized I wasn't getting enough fiber. So now I pay attention to that. Another thing was that I realized previously that I was getting too much sodium. So I'm paying a little bit more attention to that. But the big thing that tracking has helped me with is figuring out portion sizes, because I had no clue. We have always been big eaters in my family, and so I had no idea what an actual portion or serving size looked like. So the tracking of the calories has helped me to do that, but it's not something that I really want to do for the rest of my life. I'm trying to take as much benefit and learning from this as I can right now, with the hopes that I can kind of shift over to just a more intuitive eating style, and I don't have to log every meal in the future. But for now, it's helping me, so I'm sticking with it. The other thing that I started looking at as far as like meal planning and choosing what I'm going to eat when is foods that are very, very calorie dense and foods that are very, very nutritionally dense. Most of the time, the nutritionally dense foods are lower in calories. So trying to find a balance. For example, like eating meat and a carb together, you know, those are both high calorie foods. They're both nutritious for you, but they're more high calorie. So trying to balance those things out a little bit more, and doing more of carbs with more vegetable and less meat, and just trying to find a little bit more of a balance. I'm not advocating like food combining rules or anything like that. Just trying to use the calories that my body needs more wisely and spread them out more evenly throughout the day. So that's just kind of where that comes in. I think that's really kind of all of it. Not eliminating food groups, you know. So I eat meat, I eat vegetables, I eat fruit, I eat complex carbs and simple carbs, which is what fruit is. I do take into consideration my specific food sensitivities, and I do tend to lean more towards whole foods and grains as opposed to more processed things. I just think that makes really good sense. And for me, and especially in the weight loss place that I'm at right now, it helps a lot. But overall, the point of this meal plan, or this non-diet diet, is that I can't be on a diet for the rest of my life, right? And I need something that I can do every single day, because anybody who's lost a decent amount of weight will tell you really losing the weight is the easier part. It's the keeping it off that's the problem. And if there's a radical shift between how you ate to lose weight and how you're going to eat after, the chances of you keeping it off are so I figure I need something that I can do that's adaptable, and that I can use my love of food and cooking to my benefit, and that I can sustain over the course of my life, because it's not that radical of a departure, outside of the fact that I'm not living on Uber Eats and drive-through right now, you know, which nobody should be living like that anyway. So I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life, because I can go to my mom's and eat whatever she made, and just make sensible portion sizes and choices to fill my plate. You know, I can go to parties, I can go out to eat with friends, and I can make it work like this. Whereas on other diets that I've tried, I would be sipping on, you know, on water and picking at a green salad, you know, and like hating my life. And I don't want to live like that. So, yeah, so that's my goal is sustainability, and seeing this through, finally seeing this through to the very, very bitter end. But hopefully it won't be bitter. Hopefully it'll be amazing and beautiful and wonderful. So that's my non-diet diet, just as an example, since I've already gone over 10 minutes, which was kind of my goal to stop at. Today, I had a banana before my exercise this morning, and then I had avocado toast, and after, and for snack I had an apple, and then later I had some almonds, and for lunch I had a beautiful veggie packed salad with full fat dressing and half a chicken breast. And for dinner, I don't know what I'm gonna have yet, but I've got all kinds of wonderful things in the fridge already ready for me. One thing that I do in the evening is I try to not have any carbs in the evening, just because it's a little bit heavier. So I try to get my carbs in earlier in the day, but that's not always the case. Some days I want rice for dinner, and I have rice for dinner. So, you know, just giving myself grace in those moments, and but also while I'm doing that, trying to make healthy choices. And I think that's where the whole little mind shift comes in, especially regarding the whole like cheat things, because that just messes with your brain. So anyway, that's my plan. It's working for me, I think. I feel very unstressed about food, and less emotional about it, which is a very good thing. So yeah, so that's my plan. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, then maybe go ahead and do that. Click that little button. And if you found this video interesting, please don't hold the length against me. Give me a thumbs up. And yeah, that would be awesome. And leave me a comment. Let me know you were here. That would be even awesomer. So thank y'all for listening. That's it. I'm going to stop talking. See y'all later. Bye.